Hello and welcome to your English buddy. This is your calm space to listen, shadow, and grow your English confidence. One slow, natural sentence at a time. In this journey, we'll practice English slowly and clearly, with gentle rhythm and real sentences that you can use in everyday life. Shadowing means listening and speaking at the same time, matching the sound, the tone, and the feeling of English. It helps you think in English. It helps you sound more natural, and it helps you speak with confidence, even when you're alone. So in this session, we'll move through moments of a normal day. We'll describe thoughts, actions, and feelings in slow English. You don't need to understand every word. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to listen, breathe, and follow the rhythm. Let's start at the beginning of the day, the quiet moment when the world is waking up. The sun is soft and the air is calm. You open your eyes slowly. You take a deep breath and feel the morning light. Your body feels heavy, but your mind begins to wake. You turn your head, look at the clock, and smile gently. It's a new day, a new chance to practice, to live, to learn. You sit up on your bed. Your feet touch the floor. You stretch your arms and shoulders. Your body feels a little sleepy, but you know it's time to move. You walk to the bathroom, slowly and quietly. You feel the cool floor under your feet. You wash your face with water. The water feels fresh, clean, and alive. It wakes you up. You brush your teeth, you look in the mirror, and you see yourself ready to begin. In shadowing, we don't only copy sounds, we connect to meaning. So when you hear, "I wake up and wash my face," you don't just say the words. You imagine them. You feel them. You create the picture in your mind. That's how English becomes part of you, not just something you study, but something you live. Now let's build a few more moments in this quiet morning. You walk to the kitchen. You open the window and let the light come in. The air feels fresh and peaceful. You put the kettle on to make tea or coffee. You hear the soft sound of boiling water. It's warm, it's gentle, it's calm. You take your cup in your hand and take a small sip. You taste the morning. It's the taste of a new beginning. Every sentence you shadow is like a step in a calm walk. You don't need to hurry. You just move forward slowly, clearly, and naturally. You're not rushing to the end. You're enjoying the rhythm of each word. Now, let's connect a few more thoughts together as one natural flow. You sit at the table with your cup. You look outside the window. You see people walking to work, cars moving slowly, birds flying in the sky. You listen to the world waking up. You take another deep breath and feel thankful for this moment. The day is beginning, and so is your English practice. You open your notebook or your phone and read a few sentences. You whisper them softly to yourself. You feel your mouth forming the words. You listen to how they sound. The words are not just sounds. They are actions, thoughts, and emotions. You say, "I am ready for today." You say it again slowly, "I am ready for today." You let that feeling grow. You're not just learning English, you are living it, breathing it, speaking it gently and naturally. Shadowing is not about perfection. It's about presence. It's about being here, right now, with your voice and your breath. It's about listening and feeling. Each sentence becomes a small piece of rhythm, a connection between your thoughts and your words. You finish your drink and stand up. You take a slow walk to the door. You pick up your bag, your keys, maybe your phone. You open the door and step outside. The light touches your face. You feel the cool air on your skin. You hear the soft sounds of the morning. This is where your day begins. As you walk, notice the world around you, the colors, the shapes, the voices. Every step, every sound, every small detail can become part of your English practice. You think in English, "The sky is clear today." You whisper softly, "The air feels nice." You smile and say, "It's a beautiful morning." These small sentences, real, honest, natural, are the heart of slow English shadowing. When you shadow like this, you're not only training your voice, you're training your mind to think calmly, clearly, and confidently in English. You're learning how to move with the language, how to breathe with it. And this is the secret to speaking naturally, Not fast, not nervous, but balanced and easy. Take one last deep breath with me. You are walking into your day. You are ready. You are calm. You are learning English, one soft sentence at a time. You've started your morning calmly. You've stepped outside and the world is awake. You can feel the energy of the day. Not loud, not fast, just quietly alive. This is where the rhythm of English becomes part of your movement. Each step, each breath can be a sentence. As you walk, imagine you are talking to yourself in English. You don't have to speak loudly. You can whisper softly or even speak in your mind. You say, "I'm walking to work." Then you say, "The air feels fresh." You look around. You say, "I see people waiting for the bus." These are not grammar exercises. These are living sentences. They come from what you see and feel. And that's how you make English real. When you shadow like this, you are building a habit, the habit of thinking in English. You stop translating from your language. You begin to notice how English feels. It has its own rhythm, its own melody, its own breath. That rhythm becomes your rhythm. You walk down the street. You hear a car pass by. You hear footsteps behind you. You say quietly, "I hear the city waking up." You watch the lights change from red to green. You cross the road and smile. You think, "I like this moment." Small thoughts. Simple English, but powerful practice. Now imagine you arrive at your destination. Maybe it's work, maybe school, maybe a small cafe where you like to study. You open the door and step inside. The sound changes and it's softer, warmer, closer. You smell coffee. You hear voices talking quietly. Someone says hello. You smile and answer, "Good morning." That's small talk, the first connection of your day. Small talk is simple but beautiful. It's how people open the door to conversation. When someone says, "How are you?" You don't need long answers. You can say, "I'm good, thanks."
How about you?
It's soft, natural, friendly. The goal is not to be perfect. It's to sound kind, open, and real. You order your drink. You say, "Hi, can I have a coffee, please?" The person smiles and says, "Sure, what size?" You reply, "Medium, please." "Thank you." They say, "No problem." That's a full, real conversation, short but complete. It's English that belongs in your day, not just in your books. You take your drink, find a seat, and sit down. You open your notebook or your laptop. You take a deep breath before you start working. You say softly, "I feel calm. I'm ready." You start typing or writing. You look at your screen, your page, your notes. The morning light falls across the table. You take another sip of coffee and smile. When you speak slowly, when you shadow slowly, English begins to move naturally through your voice. You don't fight it. You flow with it, and you start to notice that your pronunciation becomes smoother. Your voice feels more comfortable. Your words sound more natural. You are not reading English, you are speaking it. Let's build a few longer sentences together. Sentences that sound like thoughts. I'm trying to focus today. I have a few things to do, but I will take them one by one. I feel calm and motivated. These are not big sentences, but they carry emotion. They help you connect English to how you really feel. When you shadow, try to imagine your life in English. Imagine your day in English words. Describe your moments softly, as if you're telling a story to a friend. You look out the window and see people walking. You say quietly, "They look busy." You hear laughter from a table nearby. You say softly, "They sound happy." You see the clouds moving slowly in the sky. You whisper, "The weather looks nice today." And each of those sentences becomes a piece of your English memory. Easy, natural, real. After a while, you start working or studying more deeply. Maybe you're writing an email. You say to yourself, "I'm writing to my teacher." Or, "I'm sending a message to my colleague." You type slowly, thinking about the right words. You check your sentences. You read them out loud. You listen to the sound. You correct small things gently. You say, "That sounds better." This is shadowing too, shadowing with your own sentences. When you hear your voice, you're not just practicing English. You're learning to trust your sound, your expression, your flow. Time passes quietly. You look at the clock. You smile and say, "It's already late morning." You stretch your arms and take a break. You stand up and walk to the window again. You look outside and see sunlight shining on buildings. You say, "The light is soft today." You breathe out slowly. You say, "I feel good." When you speak slowly and clearly, you begin to enjoy English more. It's not about being correct all the time. It's about being connected. Connected to your own voice. Connected to the moment. Connected to the rhythm of life around you. So as you move into the next part of your day, whether you're working, studying, or traveling, keep your English close. Use it softly. Whisper your thoughts. Speak your sentences with calm confidence. This is the heart of shadowing. Not fast, not forced, just natural, real, and alive. The morning is slowly turning into noon. The sun is brighter now. You've finished some work, or maybe you've studied for a few hours. It's time to take a little break. You close your notebook or pause your computer. You stretch your shoulders. You take a deep breath and smile softly. You say to yourself, "I did a good job this morning." You whisper again, "I feel calm. I feel focused." This is part of learning, appreciating the small progress you make every day. Even one sentence spoken slowly, clearly, and confidently can change how you feel about English. Now you're thinking about lunch. You decide to go out or maybe stay inside. You pick up your bag and say quietly, "I'm going to have lunch." You walk slowly and listen to the sound of your footsteps. You notice the people around you. You hear voices, traffic, laughter, and maybe music playing somewhere nearby. You walk into a cafe or restaurant. You smile at the person at the counter. You say, "Hi there." They say, "Hello, how are you?" You answer, "I'm good, thanks." "How are you?" That small exchange is real conversation. It's how you connect, even with strangers. You look at the menu. You say softly, "What should I get today?" You look carefully. You say, "I think I'll have a sandwich." You go to the counter and say, "Hi, can I have a chicken sandwich, please?" The person says, "Sure. Would you like anything to drink?" You reply, "Yes, a glass of water, please." They say, "Okay, please wait a few minutes." You smile and say, "Thank you." This is the beauty of slow English. You don't rush. You let every sentence breathe. You let your voice sound natural. You make English your friend. You sit down at a table. You wait quietly. You look outside the window. You see people walking by, talking, laughing. You whisper, "Everyone seems busy today." You take out your phone or a small book. You think, "I'll check my messages." You see a message from a friend. It says, "Hey, how's your day going?" You smile and reply, "Pretty good. I just finished some work and now I'm having lunch." You read it again slowly, shadowing your own text. You say, "Pretty good. I just finished some work and now I'm having lunch." You hear your own rhythm, soft, clear, calm. When your food arrives, you say politely, "Thank you." You take a bite and whisper softly, "This tastes good." You eat slowly, thinking about how peaceful this moment is. You don't need to think about grammar or rules. You just describe what you see and feel. You say quietly, "The bread is warm. The chicken is fresh. I like this place." This is how you practice English in real life, with the moments that belong to you. After you finish eating, you stand up and say, "Excuse me, can I pay, please?" The cashier says, "Of course. How was everything?" You answer, "It was great, thank you." They say, "I'm glad you liked it." You smile and say, "Have a nice day." They answer, "You too." And just like that, you've practiced polite, friendly English without even opening a textbook. You step outside again. The sun feels warm on your face. You take a deep breath and say softly, "It's a beautiful day." You walk slowly, enjoying the feeling of calm. You pass by people talking. You listen to how they speak. You don't need to understand every word. You just let the sound of English flow around you. As you walk, you can keep shadowing softly. You can say, I'm walking down the street. The sky is bright blue. The wind feels nice. I feel relaxed. You say each sentence slowly, with space between your words. You let each sound settle. This is the real art of shadowing. Not speed, not pressure, just peaceful rhythm. You find a bench and sit for a few minutes. You look at your phone and decide to call a friend. You say, hey, what's up? Your friend says, not much. Just taking a break, you? You answer, same here. I just had lunch. The food was really good. They say, nice. What did you eat? You say, a chicken sandwich and a glass of water. They say, simple but tasty. You both laugh softly. You continue, yeah, I like keeping things light during the day. You talk a little more. You ask, how's your work going? They reply, busy but not too bad. You say, that's good to hear. You talk for a few more minutes. Simple words, natural rhythm. You don't rush and you don't worry about mistakes. You just speak. You let English be part of your normal life. After the call, you put your phone away. You sit quietly, thinking about the conversation. You say softly, that was nice. You take another deep breath and whisper, I'm getting better at speaking. And it's true. Every shadowing session, every small talk, every quiet moment builds your confidence a little more. You stand up and begin to walk again. You say softly, time to get back to work. You walk slowly, repeating the rhythm of your sentences with your steps. I feel good. I feel focused. I'm ready to continue my day. You return to your workspace, sit down, and open your computer. You whisper softly, okay, let's get back to it. The calm, gentle rhythm of English stays with you. It's not just a language now, it's your habit, your sound, your companion through the day. The afternoon begins softly. You sit by your desk again. The light outside is warm, not too bright. You can feel the calm energy of the day settling in. You look at your screen and say quietly, okay, time to focus again. You take a slow breath. You open your notebook. You whisper, let's start with something simple. You type a few words slowly and carefully. You notice your fingers moving, your thoughts flowing. You think, I'm doing my best. And that simple thought gives you confidence. You don't rush. You stay calm. You keep your rhythm steady, both in your work and in your English. After a while, you stretch your arms and take another breath. You say softly, I need a little break. You stand up and look outside the window. You watch the clouds move slowly. You whisper, the sky looks peaceful today. You take another deep breath and smile. You say to yourself, I like this moment. You decide to make a cup of tea or coffee. You walk to the kitchen. You fill the kettle with water. You wait as it starts to heat up. You listen to the quiet sound, the gentle hum, the soft bubbling. You whisper, almost ready. You pour the hot water carefully. You watch the steam rise. You say, it smells nice. You take a sip and say quietly, that's good. This moment feels small, but it's beautiful. You're speaking English, thinking in English without even trying too hard. You're using it naturally, in calm, real moments. This is what shadowing teaches you, not only pronunciation but presence. You go back to your seat and look at your notes again. You whisper, okay, let's continue. You start reading something, maybe a message, maybe an article. You shadow what you read slowly and softly. The weather is nice today. People are enjoying the sunshine. Life feels peaceful right now. Each sentence flows like soft water. A coworker or friend messages you. They say, hey, how's your afternoon going? You reply, it's going well. I just made some tea. They say, that sounds nice. I need one too. You both laugh a little. Then you say, yeah, tea always helps me relax. It's such a small talk, but it feels warm. It's English used with emotion. Friendly, simple, real. You get back to your work. You read your notes. You write a few sentences. You say softly, I'm improving. I can feel it. You don't force it, you just stay present. After some time, you look at the clock. You whisper, it's already afternoon. You stretch again, letting your shoulders relax. You take another sip of tea. You think, maybe I'll take a short walk. So you stand up, grab your phone, and head outside. The air feels fresh. You can hear birds in the distance. You whisper softly, it feels nice to move. You walk slowly, listening to your steps again. You say quietly, one step at a time. I feel calm. I feel awake. Each phrase blends with your breathing. You look around. You see trees, cars, and people talking. You listen to small bits of conversation. You notice the rhythm of real English. It's not fast. It's not perfect. It's just natural. You pass by a shop. The doors open and you hear music. You smile and whisper, that song sounds familiar. You walk in. You look at the items on display. You say softly, I like this color. You pick something up and say, how much is this? The shopkeeper answers, that's $10. You say, okay, I'll take it. They smile and say, would you like a bag? You say, yes, please. They say, here you go. You reply, thank you. Have a great day. They say, you too. You walk out feeling proud. You've just used English in another real situation. You keep walking down the street. You say softly, that felt good. You look up at the sky again. You whisper, it's getting a little cloudy now. You keep your tone gentle. You keep your thoughts simple. That's how slow English becomes part of your thinking. After a while, you return home or to your office. You sit down again and take a breath. You whisper, that short walk helped me clear my mind. You take a moment to write something, maybe a message to a friend. You say quietly as you type, hey, I just got back from a short walk. The weather's nice today. You reread your sentence. You listen to the sound of your own words. You smile. This is English becoming your rhythm, and slow, calm, and alive. You check your schedule. You whisper, I still have some work to finish. You open your notebook again. You say softly, let's do this one step at a time. You write a few more sentences slowly. You listen to yourself reading them out loud, practicing shadowing naturally. You hear the soft, even tone of your voice. It feels comfortable now. After a little while, you lean back and stretch your hands. You whisper, almost done for today. It's part of your life, your voice, your story, your rhythm. You whisper softly, that makes me happy. You look at the clock. It's late, but you don't feel tired in a heavy way. It's a soft tired, the kind that feels earned. You whisper, it's time to rest. You close your eyes for a moment. You listen to your breathing, steady, calm, natural. You whisper one last line, good night, world, then another. See you tomorrow. The room stays quiet. You let go of the words. You let go of the day, and you rest, mind calm, heart light, English gently flowing in your dreams. The sun is rising slowly. A soft light fills your room. You open your eyes gently. You whisper a good morning. You smile to yourself. A new day begins. You stretch your arms slowly. You feel your body waking up. You whisper, I'm ready for a new day. You sit up on your bed. The air feels cool and quiet. You breathe in deeply. You breathe out slowly. You whisper, fresh morning air. You listen. Maybe you hear birds outside. Maybe you hear soft footsteps in the hallway. Everything feels calm and slow. You whisper, I love quiet mornings. You stand up and walk to the window. You look outside. The light is gentle, not too bright. You whisper, the world is waking up. You notice how peaceful everything feels. You take a deep breath again. You whisper, today will be a good day. You believe it. You feel it in your chest. You walk to the bathroom. You turn on the water. You splash your face. The water feels cool, refreshing. You whisper, It feels nice. You brush your teeth, slowly. You focus on the rhythm. Brush, rinse, breathe. You whisper, I'm awake now. You smile at yourself in the mirror. You say, good morning, me. You laugh a little. It feels simple but real. You walk back to your room. You make your bed neatly. You whisper, a clean bed makes a clean mind. You smooth the blanket, fix the pillow. You look around and say, ready? You open the curtains a little more. Light fills the room. You whisper, it's beautiful. You walk to the kitchen. You put on some tea or coffee. The sound of boiling water feels calm. You whisper, I love this sound. You smell the warm aroma. You whisper, good morning, coffee. You pour it slowly into your cup. You say, thank you for this moment. You take your first sip, slow, gentle. You whisper, perfect. You sit by the window or at the table. You hold your cup with both hands. You look outside again. You whisper, it's peaceful. You watch the sunlight touch the trees or buildings. You whisper, a new day, new energy. You think about your plans for the day. You say, I will do my best. You take another sip. You whisper, step by step. You take your notebook. You open a page and write, morning thoughts. You write a few simple lines in English. I feel calm this morning. I want to practice English today. I want to stay positive. You whisper each line as you write it. You say, these are my words. You smile. They belong to you. You close your notebook and whisper, time to move. You stand up and stretch your arms again. You roll your shoulders. You breathe deeply. You whisper, energy. You feel the movement in your body. You say, let's start. You walk to the mirror again. You look at yourself. You whisper, today I'll speak slowly and clearly. You practice a few sentences. Good morning. How are you? I'm doing well. You listen to your voice. You whisper, that sounds nice. You repeat, good morning, everyone. This time a little louder, more confident. You smile. You whisper, yes, that's better. You walk around your room talking softly. You describe what you see. This is my chair. That's my book. There's the window. You whisper, I can talk about my surroundings. You look at your phone and say slowly, I have a message. You pretend to read it. Then you whisper a response, thank you. I'll call you later. You laugh softly. You whisper, I'm practicing conversation. You open your English notebook again. You read a few sentences from yesterday. You whisper each one slowly. You focus on pronunciation. Calm, gentle, natural. You say, I'm improving every day. You smile because you can hear it. You whisper, I sound better now. You take another breath. You whisper, slow is good. You walk to the kitchen again for breakfast. You whisper, what should I eat today? You take out bread or fruit or cereal. You describe it in English. This is bread. This is milk. This is my breakfast. You whisper each word clear and relaxed. You take a bite. You whisper, delicious. You feel the soft rhythm of your morning speech. You sit quietly for a moment. You whisper, I feel calm. You look at the clock. Time moves slowly. You whisper, there's no rush. You let the morning unfold naturally. You say, I'm ready for today. You whisper, I'll speak softly. I'll listen carefully. You take one last sip of your tea or coffee. You whisper, I'm learning to live in English. You smile because it feels true. You stand up. You stretch one more time. You whisper, let's begin the day. You walk to the door feeling light and focused. You whisper softly, English is my morning music. You listen. It feels warm, slow, and peaceful. You whisper, I'll carry this calm energy all day. You take a deep breath. You open the door, and you step into a new day, confident, calm, and softly speaking English. You walk out the door slowly. The sunlight touches your face. You whisper, "It's a bright day." You take a deep breath. You whisper, "Let's go." You start walking down the street. You notice the sound of your steps. You whisper, "One step at a time." You look around and the sky is blue. People are walking, cars are moving. You whisper, "The world feels alive." You smile. You whisper, "I'm part of it." You reach the bus stop. You wait quietly. You whisper, "The bus will come soon." You look around. You see people with coffee, some with phones. You whisper softly, "Everyone is starting their day." You hear the bus coming. You whisper, "Here it is." You step on slowly. You say politely, "Good morning." You find a seat. You look out the window. You whisper, "I love watching the city wake up." The bus moves forward. You watch the trees, the buildings, the people. You whisper, "Every place has a story." You feel calm, relaxed. You take another deep breath. You whisper, "I'm learning English peacefully." You repeat in a soft tone, "I can learn anywhere." You reach your stop and get off. You whisper, "Let's go." You walk toward your office, school, or workspace. You smile at someone on the way. You say softly, "Good morning." They smile back. You whisper, "Small moments make the day better." You arrive and sit at your desk. You whisper, "Let's start working." You open your notebook, your laptop, your phone. You whisper, step by step. You read something in English, a message, an article, or a note. You whisper, "Read slowly." You go line by line. You whisper, "Understand first, then speak." You take your time. You whisper, "Slow English is clear English." You type a short message in English. "Good morning, how are you?" You whisper it softly as you type. It feels natural. You write another, "I'll finish this task today." You whisper, "I'm confident." You smile. You whisper, "It feels easy when I stay calm." You answer a phone call. You say, "Hello, good morning." You listen carefully. You whisper quietly while listening, "I understand." You speak slowly. "Sure, I'll do that." Your tone is calm. Your rhythm is soft. You whisper, "I can speak clearly." You finish the call and smile. You whisper, "That was good practice." You look at your notes again. You whisper, "Let's focus." You read something new in English. You pronounce each word clearly. You whisper, "I can improve every minute." You listen to yourself. You like how your English sounds, slow, clean, and warm. You whisper, "This is progress." You stand up and stretch. You whisper, "A small break." You walk to get water or coffee. You whisper, "Stay relaxed." You look out the window. You whisper like the sky looks calm. You take a sip and whisper, "I'm doing well today." You return to your desk. You whisper, "Let's continue." You start writing an email or message. You read it aloud slowly. "Hello, I hope you are doing well. Here is the update." You whisper, "Simple and polite." You finish writing and whisper, "Done." You open another task. Maybe you read a document or watch a short English video. You whisper, "I'll listen carefully." You hear each word clearly. You whisper, "This helps my pronunciation." You repeat softly what you hear. You listen again. You whisper, "Better this time." You repeat once more. Your voice becomes smoother. You whisper, "I'm speaking naturally." You hear someone say hello. You turn and say, "Hi, how are you?" They answer. You smile and reply softly, "I'm good, thank you." You whisper, "Small talk in English feels nice." You ask, "How's your day going?" They smile and talk a little more. You nod, listening carefully. You whisper, "I understand." You say, "That sounds interesting." It feels natural, like two friends talking. You whisper, "English can be gentle." You walk back to your seat. You whisper, "Every conversation is practice." You open your notebook and write down what you said. You whisper each sentence quietly. I said, "How are you?" I said, "That sounds interesting." You whisper, "These are useful." You smile, proud of your progress. You look at the clock. Time is passing slowly. You whisper, "That's okay." You continue your work, one task at a time. You whisper, "I don't need to hurry." You speak each English phrase slowly in your head. "I can do this. I understand this. I'm improving every day." You whisper, "I believe it." You finish a task. You whisper, "Well done." You stretch your hands. You take a slow, deep breath. You whisper, "I'm learning English and living calmly." You smile again. The light is softer now. You whisper, "It was a good day." You close your notebook. You whisper, "Tomorrow I'll speak again." You smile, feeling calm and proud. You whisper one last time, "English is becoming my friend." You breathe slowly. You whisper, "Thank you for today." And you let the quiet fill the room, calm, steady, and full of English words that now belong to you.